Happy Michter's Monday. Well, this was an expensive week for me. Started off with this bottle, and we got a few other ones that will be discussed in later videos. But the topic of this video right here is Michter's 10-year single-barrel Kentucky Straight Bourbon Whiskey. Never thought I'd own one of these.
Yeah, I didn't think so either.
So, we got very lucky. Our state released about, I want to say, maybe like 60 bottles of this online. And I just happened to be at the right place at the right time, and I was able to snag one. Here it is, about to uncork this very expensive bottle of bourbon. Possibly. Oh my god. This is terrible. Looks like Godzilla now.
Could I just say, to all the whiskey companies that we know watch, please, with the wax. Yeah, it looks cool. You've got to get somebody testing this garbage.
Oh my god.
Please. It's impossible to open. It's like every bottle now. I should not have to spend 15 minutes opening a bottle, get my Swiss Army knife. That should not be a prerequisite. Okay?
Oh boy. We already cork popped it about 3 times, so let's just try to get what we can from it. Not bad. Alright, Michter's 10-year. Sorry if you get any wax, I can't help it. There it goes. $200 bottle. How's that? Ugh.
It's certainly got an interesting nose.
Interesting in a good way or interesting in a bad way?
I don't know.
Interesting in a Michter's way?
Probably.
Interesting in a Michter's way. Ooh, yeah. Really creamy oak. Some kind of fruit in there.
Yeah, I get like grapey.
Grapey. Almost a little smoky. Getting a little bit of smoke from that. Definitely smells like it's aged longer than 10 years. Kind of has a similar smell of Knob Creek 18 to me.
Yeah.
From the nose, I think it's going to taste pretty good.
Yeah.
Let's see. Cheers.
Cheers.
Michter's 10-year. That has to be one of the most complex things I've ever put in my mouth before. Whoa. Ooh. Finish is...
Yeah, that's
Sorry,
a long finish.
I'm trying to process, but I'm getting a lot of cherries on the finish. A lot of oak, a lot of wood. A little bit of citrusy note in there, I would say. Tobacco, leather, like pop-pop shoes. Wow. Yep. I can see why this is allocated. Based on that taste, with the level of complexity that taste was, just off the first sip, would it shock you if I told you this was only 94.4 proof?
That would. I was about to ask about the proof.
Yep.
I figured it must be pretty high.
94.4 proof. And I'm assuming when you say it must be pretty high, you're talking about the complexity, right? It's not, It's not burning at all. It's very smooth.
No, it was smooth.
It's definitely aged longer than 10 years. I know there's rumors that like some of this stuff is like 15, 16, 17 years. I'd put this more around the 15 to 16 mark just from that first taste.
Smell that.
Smell that. Now I'm really getting Knob Creek 18. I'm getting peanut. I'm getting heavy oak, heavy char. Right? Are you getting that? Like super like
Yeah, a lot more of the char. A bit of cherry even.
Yep. Butterscotchy. Ooh.
It's like completely different.
Limestoney now pushing through a little bit. This is really good. This is nice. Finally, I found a Michter's product that I'm a big fan of. And I just had one sip and just a couple of noses, and I already know that this is going to be a great bottle.
Yeah.
Right? Like the Michter's normal line, I'll be honest with you, I could take it or leave it. Nothing from me, from their normal line, like the regular sour mash, the regular bourbon, the American whiskey, has even the rye. I had the rye the other night at a bar. Nothing has really jumped out at me. This, however, is really like I would, yeah. I'm ready for another sip. Let's go.
Yeah.
That was nice. I feel like in most of our videos, if we're sitting here quiet, it's because the bourbon in front of us is really, really, really good.
Yeah.
Like I'm sitting here, it's so hard to talk to you guys because I'm focusing so much on what flavors I'm getting. It's just like it's like a freight train derailing in a good way. There's like stuff flying everywhere, you know, pal oak, pal leather, pal tobacco, vanilla, cream, sweet.
And kind of all at once.
Oh, yeah.
You know, freight train is probably the word for it because all of a sudden it hits, for me, it hits at the front of the palate. Very, very little flavor, actually. Maybe a light vanilla. And then by the time it's reaching the back, I'm getting chocolates and citrus and fruits and creams.
Chocolates.
And it's just overwhelming. And then it kind of continues into the finish where it kind of fizzles out into like a nice oaky aftertaste.
This is really good. This is, wow, Michter's, you know, applause for you. You did really good on this bottle. This is really nice. I wish you could, now, if you could make your regular bourbon taste like this, oh my God, I'd be buying you every minute of every moment of my life.
Yeah. What do you think? Is it time to kill him?
It's sadly, it's time to kill him. Ooh, take me to heaven right now. I have no personal idea. I can't figure it out. I have had hundreds of whiskeys I've sampled. I cannot understand how they could get something to taste this complex with this low of a proof. I mean, as this is not me talking about the burn at all. This has the complexity of a 130 plus, 130 proof plus whiskey.
Sure, yeah. I mean, right?
Wow.
It's amazing to taste this and think, this is watered down. This is not at the full extent of what it could be.
Can you imagine a barrel strength offering of this?
Yeah.
Oh my God, I don't even
Well,
know.
I gotta assume if they got it to this point, that there must have been a lot of variations, right? This is something where I feel like they probably tried like 30 or 40 different proofs and narrowed it down to where it was going to taste like this. I feel like I've been pretty quiet, all things considered, but this is, I mean, it's been a while since I tasted something this complex. And there are other things that I've tasted, even in these videos, that are really nice. But this is the most complex thing I've had since we tried Pappy. I don't think the flavors are very similar, but as far as complexity goes, this has so many different notes to where I'm going to be thinking about it for probably a week or two.
Out of 10, I think I'm going to do it.
Yeah. Ladies and gentlemen, this could be a big moment.
This could be a very big moment. I've never rated, well, I have, but I have never on the channel rated a whiskey perfect before. This is a perfect bottle of bourbon. This is a 10 out of 10.
Yeah. 10 out of 10 for the 10 year.
10 out of 10. Usually I like my proofs a little bit higher because I like more complexity and flavor, but this has the complexity and flavor at a lower proof, which makes it ultra, ultra, ultra smooth. It's so good. What would you rate it?
I think I'd have to give it a 10. I think even, normally the $200 would probably put a notch in it for me. But this, I think this is earning the $200. And that's always kind of the line you walk with whiskey of any kind is, okay, they say it's worth this much. How much of that is the name and how much of that is the product? Right? Is because this is allocated, it's going to cost more, and then you get a nice fancy package with nothing inside. This fully lives up, and I would say even exceeds to where, yeah, it would be worth it to pay even a little more.
If you can find this for sub $250, do it. Put it on a credit card and put it on a credit card, or if you don't have the money, put it on a credit card. This is something you have to experience. This is very, very good. 10 out of 10. 10 out of 10. It's phenomenal. It's so good. So I'll leave you with that. And then possibly after I end this video, pour a little more.
I don't think you will.
We'll see. I'm Luke.
I'm Frank.
And this is Whiskey Bible. If you want to afford bottles like this, be sure to stay in school. You're going to need it.